Oh, hey everybody, Waking the Tiger has now been out for a couple of days and I've decided to put my thoughts together and really decide just how much of a polished turd this might be. Playing over 10 hours of the DLC now, I've really decided exactly what I like and what I don't like, and most of these are not just on Waking the Tiger but the new patch in general. So go ahead, sit back, relax, hit the like button, and enjoy me for my tasteful review of Waking the Tiger. Let's begin. What the fuck is going on with Frontlines now? You'll notice that there's a fine line between what was in the patch and what I consider to be in Waking the Tiger, as there actually seems like there's a lot of features they tried to put in the patch instead of the DLC. Maybe Paradox has learned a thing or two about past DLCs with the lack of content coming out into the patches. But nothing has ever rustled my Jimmy so hard than this new fucking frontline system. It just doesn't exactly work. As you can see over here, my troops are refusing to come and guard this empty line against the Chinese. Now I can individually set an army to come over here, but once again they won't even bother to do that. The whole system seems overly complicated and messy. Before, it actually worked a lot more fluidly. Your units would always go where you'd expect them to go, and guess what? You wouldn't get all these fucking empty gaps. Sure, there might be low supply in this province over here, but there's actually low supply on the entirety of my fucking line. What ends up happening for the most part is that I'm having to micro a lot fucking more just to get my troops where they fucking should be. Like, Jesus Christ, I've got these empty gaps still despite individually setting generals there and setting the front line there. Meanwhile, my army has decided instead to death stack 8 units onto one province and attack this cavalry division. I'm not shitting you there. That's their own fucking decisions. Even setting a general manually to fill the gap won't work because he's under the new front line and won't go past that fucking border, which again means you have to move the front line. But the front line keeps moving itself off of that province anyway. So what do you get? You get loads of armies encircling your army and there's nothing you could do about it other than manually moving the fucking line. Personally, I would like to see this system incredibly reworked. I just don't understand how it's this fucked up and no one even found it in playtesting. You're gonna hear that a lot, by the way. Nobody noticed this in playtesting. Disturbing the sleeping kitty. But let's get on to actual Waking the Tiger features, mechanics, and all sorts of fun. So obviously the DLC is based around China, the Chinese Civil War, and the Asian front in general. And in the base game, without the DLC, China and Japan didn't receive a lot of love. China didn't have a focus tree and Japan's was incredibly weak, so it's nice to see that they've actually put some effort into them. Oh, what's that? Germany also got a whole new focus tree that got way more love and attention, despite the fact they're not really in Asia or the theme of the DLC. Even Japan's puppet Manchukuo also has a focus tree. Well, I say its own focus tree, the whole left section's like unique, but the right section's exactly the same as all the other Chinese ones. That's right, the Chinese factions all have the same focus tree, or at least they can get the same focus tree as China, but we'll get into that later. One of the things I just really don't understand is Germany getting itself a whole new section to the focus tree when instead they could have focused on like the USA, which focus tree is incredibly lacking. Personally though, I fucking love the Kaiser and my dick wants it no matter what. So someone in my Discord let me know that there's actually a pretty damn game breaking bug going on with Japan if you go down the communist side. So if you go down the communist Japanese route, go to the Civil War, you can request Soviet support where you get 8 infantry divisions, and guess what guys, they're all fully trained, fully equipped with artillery in their support, and you can just keep doing this decision till the end of the fucking Civil War. That's right, you can just go ahead and do it as many times as you want. It costs 50 political power for 8 fully trained infantry divisions that you can keep after the Civil War. Sure, you can't delete them and get their equipment back, so you can't exploit it that way, but you can get yourself a massive fucking army, all of Soviet volunteers. How did somebody fucking miss this? But we're missing the point. Waking the Tiger has so many other things like decisions. There are so many new decisions in the game which I actually fucking... Oh wait, no, the decisions are in the patch. Oh. But if that's not in Waking the Tiger, then what is? Maybe if we got ourselves some strategic bombers, got ourselves the strategic bombing doctrine, and got a whole lot of decryption, we could figure out what these features are. Oh no, the Germans have declared war on the Polish and I haven't even bothered to get myself an army. All I have are strategic bombers. Well, my friend, in Waking the Tiger, you now can select what exactly you want to bomb with your strategic bombers, and if you have very good decryption, very good radars, you can actually just cripple the entire country you're at war with. First, you want to start off by blowing up their airfields. Once they're gone, they can't launch a single defense against you and your bombers. With the airfields out the way, Germany won't be able to stop you from just demolishing their entire country because you can focus on everything. And with the fact you can rush strategic bombers free as Britain, guess what? You're fucking unstoppable! But when you've turned Germany into a giant fireball unable to produce any equipment, at least you can hold yourself a speech! The Germans are at war with the Soviets now, so why don't we switch over and see just how great of a position they're in right now? Just another good invasion of the Russians as Germany, and oh my... Holy fucking shit! It's all on fire! And considering you can't actually defend against this because they can blow up their airfields before you can do anything, yeah, this is a big problem. Maybe Japan has declared war on you. Maybe you've garrisoned 1,500 strategic bombers in Hong Kong. Maybe you're about to shit down the fire of hellfire on them. Just a few weeks of bombing, and guess what? Japan's getting fucked! The meat and gravy. The Guangxi clique, or as it's known in English without the funny pronunciation of Chinese where some letters are just pronounced differently. The Guangxi, fuck off with your French shit! So obviously the DLC is based on the Chinese Civil War, giving it more flavour, more decisions, and more ways to get yourself some sweet land from China. So one of the first things we're going to see out is border incidents. They actually work pretty interestingly. And when I say interestingly, I mean I have no idea how the fuck they work. I'm currently shooting artillery into a mountain. What the fuck does that even mean? Oh, hey, look, someone turned up. Oh, we won. We won against the mountain. But thankfully, there's no way to abuse these border conflicts, are there? No. You may have noticed I've won every single one of them. The interesting part of being a warlord is that you can actually proclaim yourself a rival government, which will give you the focus tree of China, which is actually pretty interesting. But not as interesting as me demolishing the competition with my broken infantry divisions that will absolutely win every single border conflict. Oh, but ISP, how exactly are you doing it? You're just absolutely destroying them. Well, my friends, here's a tip. There you go. That's all you need to know. One thing I was pretty excited about was the new trait system. You can actually pick what exactly you want your general to do, but it didn't exactly turn out how I wanted it to be. But after 10 hours of gameplay, I haven't unlocked most of these traits. That's right, I've played to endgame plenty of time and I've never unlocked the skilled staffer. I've never unlocked the trickster. The only one I've really ever unlocked is the infantry leader. It feels like a lot of them haven't really been balanced right with the way the game works, which again comes under a little thing called playtesting. Oh yeah, you can also build infrastructure in provinces and get more resources. It's a really cool feature. But it's not in the DLC, it's in the patch. One thing that is a major game changer is attaches. They'll give you 20% of the army experience gained by the person you've sent them to, and you get to see what's going on in their land. It's really fucking good, especially for countries like Germany at early game. Another cool feature in the decisions is the ability to denounce your own government or expand civil support for another party in your country. Of course, in the Guangxi clique, it doesn't really make sense for me to denounce my government, but I did, even though Li Zongren is the leader of the non-aligned, and the fascist party. Trust nobody, not even yourself. So I've noticed with the new border conflicts, you can get a lot done, especially as a Guanxi clique. If you go fascist and get Japan off your back, you can get most of, if not all of China. I mean, I cheated in my starting infantry division just to show you exactly how they work, but I've already conquered most of China. I even managed to steal Japan's puppet Shanxi through my own focus tree, which once again just goes down to playtesting. One country that got a lot of attention in the DLC is the Communist Chinese. Now, maybe it's just me, but I feel like their decisions and specific way they get China is pretty boring. You see, as the Communist Chinese, your specific way on how you go about getting China is to infiltrate provinces, which you need to do 3 times for each province, each one giving you a better buff to what happens when you do the Communist Uprising. To get the best result, you need to do it 3 times in the said province, which requires 60 days each time, and then you get the province and a couple troops spawn in it. You have 6 provinces to do it, and you need to do them 3 times each, which means 60 days for each of them, and you can tell why it's a pretty boring game. Of course, you could do it early, but you're nowhere near in the right amount of strength to actually do anything. Sure, if you dogpile onto them when the Japanese are attacking, but you just come back with a significantly less land. Personally, I feel like this needs a lot more of a rework. They need to buff this just a little bit more. The other way of doing it is a lot easier, but you don't get to get that sexy new Mao portrait because he's dead. Well, not dead, he's just not in control. You need to get yourself popular in all of these provinces and get more popularity than China. If you get yourself enough points more than China, you can demand yourself being put in power, and sometimes you get it and sometimes you do not get it, and then you'll go to war with them. But in this case, I got it and that's it. Now you're just China, but communist. You might as well have just played normal China and then gone communist. You can see where I have problems with these mechanics. Closing forts. There are a lot of things I haven't gone over in Waking the Tiger, such as formable nations and the ability to toggle the minimap. That's right, that right there is the minimap. You can press that button and you get the minimap, and that's in the DLC. Personally though, I do like all of the features in Waking the Tiger. They just needed that little bit more polish. There's just so many fucking broken ways that this game is now playable that it just really boggles my mind that they didn't spot them all. There's a lot more things I haven't gone over though, such as sending air wings as volunteers, the ability to destroy equipment you don't want and actually capture enemy equipment. But all of these work, that's the thing, they all work as they're intended. A lot of the main features though really need a lot more work, and that is my closing opinion on Waking the Tiger. Do I think you should buy it? Yes, because I do believe they'll probably fix this at some point. The front lines are a fucking mess from the patch, but I do agree that the most of the features are good, and you probably enjoy them for the future of the game. There's nothing else I don't think I've talked about, but I really hope you've enjoyed my view on Waking the Tiger. I'm sure a lot of it was just me complaining, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from, especially if anyone from Paradox is watching this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you leave a like and hit the subscribe button and stick around for more videos. And until next time, guys, it's $14.99 down the drain.